Today, we are switching things up. Welcome to the ROG Poseidon. So, for size comparison, I've taken my 1070 for the win out of my case, and as you can see, it's slightly thicker, the Poseidon, due to it being a 2.5 slot card, as well as it's just slightly, I would say, half an inch longer. So the for the win is just a normal 2-slot design, but if I actually move that out the way for a second, we're going to come back to this in a moment. So the Poseidon has 2 fans on the front, just like the for the win. Now these are patented types of kind of fin style as well as we have a copper heatsink, but not only that, we also have, it's basically a hybrid. It also has a Waterblock installed at the same time. Unlike the for the win where it's just air-cooled, this is both air-cooled and has a custom water block on it. So technically you can actually run air cooling and water at the same time, which is what I will be doing in my Tower 900. Now, we're going to go over some of the features on this straight away. So as you can see, obviously we have the water block. We obviously have the SLI bridges. Now we have this insanely cool infinity window, and I will show you that when it's actually in my case. So we also have a 2 8-pins right there because it's a custom PCB. There are 2 8-pins at the same time on the for the win edition of the 1070, as well as we have right there a voltage checker. So if you're like doing serious overclocking, you can actually get voltages from the PCB itself, not just from what's on screen. And one of my favorite features I really do like, it's on the Asus Strix as well, is right there we have 2 fan headers and an RGB header. Now what that means is if you're on water cooling, you can actually link 2 fans and put them on the radiator, and it will link to the GPU temperature. So instead of having them set to a certain amount of RPM, it only works like these fans where they only turn on at a certain temperature, which is pretty darn cool. So for connectivity, we have 2 HDMI 2.0s, 2 DisplayPort 1.4s, and a DVI. So on the back of the card, we see what's more into the water block. So here is the water block itself, and it goes in like a curve. So it goes all the way around. We actually do see that on this piece of information right here. If I can show you the box, it goes something like that. So it goes over the top of the GPU itself and basically cools that, and the VRM is being cooled at the same time. Now, what else have we got? Well, we have this Asus Republic of Gamers logo right there, which does light up just like the Infinity display, as well as there's a cool feature, which is that there are 2 LEDs right there and right there. And what they signify is if it's actually plugged in properly. So instead of messing around with all the connectors trying to see if they're plugged in properly, there's a light that shows that it is actually plugged in. Now this is a 2.5 card slot, like I've said, so you really do need, if you're going to SLI, you do need a motherboard that supports longer, further apart PCIe 16 slots. These are further apart. I think they're 80 mils apart, not instead of the normal 60 mils. So that's pretty cool there. And since I have a ROG board as well, Aura Sync works with this perfectly, and I'll show you that in a moment. So another feature that I've noticed that is different is the clips are facing upwards, where as on the 1070 for the win from EVGA, they're facing downwards. So you will actually see that I had the cables coming through here and then into the card. I've actually had to put them down there, and there's a little bit coming out there, and then clip them in because I had to flip them 180 degrees. I might get longer cables for that because it was kind of a pain. But what we're going to do now is we're going to install this insanely beautiful card. Now, this card retails for around about $1,000 US, and it's actually super hard to get hold of at this moment in time. There was only 5 in stock at Overclockers UK when I purchased this, and I think they don't have any left. Amazon don't have them either, but Unlike the For the Win that has tons of RGB, it's just got an infinity window and the ROG logo, which I think looks much better. Anyways, let's go and install the graphics card, and then I'll show you what the Asus Aura lighting looks like. Here are the LEDs that I was talking about when you actually plug them in, so you know that they're installed. Now, as I said, because the cables came through there, they were actually going over the window. So I had to put them down here, and they're not very tidy at the moment because I had to flip them 180. So I will probably definitely tidy these up and get them like routed together like in a bunch. But at the moment, since I'm just showing you, I'm not super fussed about it. But look how big this card is installed, and it looks really nice, especially with the two ROG logos right there and the one on the back as well. Now, I've noticed that you can actually configure your motherboard from when the computer is completely turned off, that it just cycles through it. You can't actually do it with this, which is kind of a shame because I kind of like it just doing the color cycling when it's off. It looks kind of cool. But let's boot the system on. It might be slightly loud straight away. I say slightly loud. And there we go. There is the infinity window. It's not synced at this moment in time. It should sync quite soon when I load into the software. But it looks awesome, and the ROG logo on the back as well. And the fans shouldn't actually spin. The fans don't normally spin until it hits 55 degrees C, just like other high-end cards, as well as only, I think, one fan will spin, like the For the Win edition, where it just wants to cool a VRM, or it just wants to cool everything. But I will have a custom fan curve on this as well as I will also have another custom loop like this. It'll be the same pump, and it'll be right here. I will move the SSD. I'm actually going to take my hard drives, one of my hard drives out the back, and put it in here because I want a bigger radiator for my card, just to keep it cooler. JS2 had a 280mm radiator, and there we go, it's synced. 280mm radiator with two fans on, and he got it down to 41 degrees C on load. I was going to put a 420 or even a 480mm round, so the temperature is going to be very, very cool for this card, as well as I'll have a fan curve on this to keep that cool as well. So it's going to look pretty awesome. I'm actually going to load into, I haven't turned my monitor on, but I will load into Windows, and I'm going to see on the GPU Tweak 2.0, I'm going to see what we are getting megahertz wise while just idle, as well as my CPU idle at this moment in time is just 16 degrees, 17 degrees, 18. We're gonna go for a 20. Nope. Okay, but yeah, 18 degrees at the moment, just booting up, and it's at 4.9 gigahertz, which is pretty insane. This custom loop does a really good job, but I am going to be redoing this for the sake of this. I don't really like 16mm tubing. I think it's too big. I know this case is huge, but I don't like it, especially soft tubing. It was good, it was temporary, but hardline tubing, especially for doing this and the CPU, two separate loops, gonna look absolutely amazing on hardline tubing at 12 mils. We'll also get the new Fantex Glacier block for that, because that is an XSPC block, and I'm gonna have to mess around with that. I'm gonna get new Glacier fittings as well. I wish Republic of Gamers did a CPU block for this. I know they did the one for the Extreme, but the Extreme board is so much more expensive and doesn't have thermal arbor and stuff like that, and it wasn't worth it. So I just went for a Waterblock myself. So it keeps focusing and unfocusing for some reason, but here we go. It does look really nice, but the card is absolutely massive. So I'm going to load in a GPU tweak, and we're going to see what we can get megahertz wise. So I've just done a stress test, and what I did is I added a plus 70 offset on the GPU boost clock. I then maxed out the GPU voltage, added 180 megahertz offset to the memory clock, which I know I could have put further, but I didn't want to just go for it straight away. I kept the fan speed on auto because I need to mess around in 3D Mark and stuff to get the perfect fan curve, as well as move the power target to maximum. It is on OC mode, so it will push itself just a bit further. But right here I got, which is pretty damn amazing, I got a 2076 megahertz clock, which is pretty awesome. Now, all in like the 10 series cards don't like going over 2100, so this is close to the 2100. I could probably get it to 2088. I will actually try and get to 2100 on water, but at this moment in time, it's just on air, and I will actually be putting it on water in the next week, 2 weeks. So as we can see, also the memory clock, if it focuses, they go 11,188 and a temperature of only 51 degrees maximum. What? Only 51 degrees maximum, and that was just with the auto fan curve. And I left the test on for about a minute, 2 minutes, and the maximum it hit was 51. I think if I left it for 10-15 minutes, it'll probably go up to something like 60 to 70. But for a few minutes, it stayed at 51 and didn't actually go any higher than that. It's at 40 at this moment, and it's just idling, and it seems to be going down. It seems to be like idling around 39-40 degrees, which is pretty damn awesome. So what we're going to be doing is we're looking at doing more offsets. I think I'm going to try and push it to like nearly 100 megahertz, which is a tall order. Oh, come on, focus, which is a tall order. So I think I'm going to do that on water first. But I will, what I will do when I put this on water is I will do 3D mark tests. I will do loads of benchmarking. But straight out of the box and it wasn't even a big tweak. It was just a little tweak. I got it to 2076. Now Jay's 2 cents got his to 2088 while on water. So I think I got a really good. I think I've won the Silicon Lottery for this card. But this card, as I said, was $1,000. So I kind of expect it to beast mode all of what I play, because the 1070 was doing really well at this resolution at 3440 by 1440, but in some games I had to turn down to high to hit over 60. Like Battlefield 1, it was all over. It was going from 60 to 80 to different things, and I kind of want a lot more FPS. So I think I haven't tested it, but I was playing Payday 2 yesterday on, I know it's not like a super demanding game, but I was playing Payday 2 yesterday, and on Ultra, and I got 150 FPS at this resolution. That is pretty awesome. For some reason, this camera keeps focusing and out of focus for some reason. Oh well. My name is Alan, and that was the ROG Poseidon.